everybody doom scrolls. Everybody scrolls on their phone, right? Follow your instinct in your heart. If it makes you laugh, if it makes you inspired, if it makes you feel an emotion, there's a good chance other people will feel that emotion.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating. Year after year through the rain and the sun, learning that faith is what makes us strong.
The kick is up, and the kick is good afternoon, and welcome back to the Superfan Diaries. I'm your host, J.R. Green, recording from our studios on Broadway in downtown Nash Vegas, bringing you the biggest sports, the biggest moments, and the biggest fans, celebrating passionate sports figures and their unique stories. Yes, legends. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share your own game day traditions or stories online. Today's guest didn't just become an Eagles fan. He built a life around it. He went from family business to pursuing his own passion, to creating one of the fastest growing Eagles content brands out there. He's behind the scenes at signings. He's building relationships in the football world and online. He's the home of some of the best Eagles content, but make no mistake, he's flying solo into something big. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Viero, the Wingman. Justin, welcome to the show.
Go Birds, everybody. What's going on, JR? Appreciate you having me on today. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Let's go.
We love it. We're so happy to have you here. And listen, as we are preparing for this, I kept thinking, there are fans, and then there are people who restructure their entire life around their passion. And you have done that with the Eagles. Justin, I got to start here. What has that been like?
Well, I'll tell you what, JR, the journey's been incredible. It's been humbling, and I tell you what, I appreciate the support in that intro there. As you did mention, I did own and operate a Philly pretzel factory for 5.5 years and just sold it about 7 or 8 months ago to actually, more so, closer to a year ago, I should say, to pursue my real passion, which was following what I went to school for, sports management, was to being in something in sports, being in something in the, behind the scenes athletics and whatnot. But I really had a passion. I've been a Philly sports fan my whole life. So I've been going to games since I was a kid. But I found myself, once I sold the store, I really went full throttle with taking all the content I had in my phone and posting it, and I became just kind of ingratiated with the whole content creation. So I sold the store, and I've been a fan my whole life. So I've been going to signings and Eagles games since I was a kid, since I can remember. But when I had the pretzel factory, I made a connection with a gentleman named Joe, who owned a sports memorabilia shop in York, PA, and we became very close. And when I had the pretzel shop, knowing I was a big fan, he would bring players in for signings, and that's kind of how it actually started a few years ago. This whole thing. So,
well, hold on. You're telling me he would bring the players in to sign the contracts for them to play football for the Phillies?
No. He owned a sports memorabilia shop in the York Galleria Mall.
To sign autographs.
I owned the pretzel shop in York, PA, and he would bring players in to do signings, and I would donate pretzels for his daughter's high school games and all that stuff, and we developed a connection. So much so that he knew I was a big Eagles fan. One day he said, "Would you go down to Philly and pick up big play Darius Slay and drive him to our store for a signing?" And I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" So I did that and stuff, and I've been going to games my whole life. So long story short, I didn't want to be behind an oven my whole life, JR. So I sold the store, pursued my passion, which was being. I still actually do work other jobs to pay the bills and whatnot, to stay busy. But my passion was doing content creation. So I started uploading to Instagram and YouTube videos of my experiences and stuff, and they started to take off. But then I really found that, funny story, what actually started everything was my first video that went viral was I went down to the Philly show about a year ago in March last year, and I met Big Dom DeSandro, the Eagles legend, head of security or whatever.
Yeah.
And I went up to him and I said, "From an Italian to an Italian, nice to meet you."
Can't beat that in.
Yeah. had a conversation with them, was recording it with my phone at the Philly show. And I'm like, "Where's the best place to get a bite to eat in Philly?" He told me Aroma on 3rd. I said, "I'm going to go there, try it out." Went the next day, posted a video of me at the restaurant, eating the food and all that. Posted this whole sequence up to Instagram, and it kind of went viral. And then from that moment on, I'm like, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm hooked. Yeah. I love the engagement. And then I shared like everything, all the games experiences I've been at. I started booking my calendar like every week, every month in advance to look for events, look for Eagle games, develop connections. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and made a lot of connections to meet different players, different people, and post it, always just being visual, being online, and getting it out there. And it seems to have taken off. So, yeah.
Wow. I just love that story. I love
It's
the
a lot.
background. And you said it quickly. You got all the key points out. And I mean, that is just, for all the listeners out there, that's just a lot of fun to hear how that vision can go. Now, before the content, before the signings, before Inside the Eagles, who was Justin?
Still a diehard Philly sports fan. I've been going to all the games and stuff, and just somebody who's passionate, creative. I've always found myself different in that regard. I feel like I can take pieces of content, pieces of whatever. Someone can look at a picture or video and just see something, and I can see something completely different with it. I see a whole vision behind it. I see a video montage. I see a meme. I see, and I just found myself. I've always been like that before I even had the power of social media and the internet. I always found myself when I was in grade school. Actually, a lot of the kids. I know it sounds like a cliche, like a funny, like made up story, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
Like the kids would go out for recess and stuff, but I always found myself staying inside and I'd write creative stories. I would just make up stories and write
Yep.
them. Like I was fourth grade, I would type them out and just make up characters and stuff. And I just always found myself. I don't, I think everybody's different, right? Like in their own way.
Yes.
Like we're all different, right? So I would say I'll be honest, like I was different. I felt like, I don't think in a bad way, but just in a creative way. Like I felt like I just always wanted to, um, before all this stuff, I still was a creative, um, adventurous type of just wanted to try new things. And
Well,
then I just it just happened to be the power of the internet, made the Instagram, made the YouTube, and was able to display that and show that. And
yep.
I've been blessed to say a lot of people have loved the results of it.
Well, do you like the creative, my work today in the studio?
do.
I put up some green. This was just so you know, some St.
Yeah.
Patty's Day green.
Yes.
I just felt like I needed to add some green for you. Turned the Superfan Diaries sign to green for you, but I did have to wear my TCU shirt. The reason being is they beat Ohio State. They're advancing in March Madness, and I'm pretty excited for tomorrow night.
I'm
Not to be
happy about
selfish.
that. I'm a Penn State fan, so anytime Ohio State loses, that's not a bad thing. So that's
I
awesome,
think,
JR.
yeah, I think everyone but Ohio State fans that listen to this show, they were all happy about TCU winning.
Oh, sure,
Even though
sure, yeah.
it was only like a 2-point favorite game, it didn't matter. People just wanted the Frogs to win.
Yeah. I do like the whole setup you got there, though. And you did mention before the show you could see you're actually in Nashville. Like I could see the cars moving live right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
which is pretty cool, man. And I know you're gonna get a live studio audience in there one of these days. So
You've got to get the time schedules right. Like right now, we're in the afternoon, so they got a gazillion cars, and people are walking by, and
Yeah.
sometimes it gets distracting as they'll stop, they'll put their head in the window. So we have to, I guess, be ready for improv.
Yeah.
But hey,
Yeah.
going back to you, you grew up in Pennsylvania, right? So you grew up right there.
So I'm
what
actually,
did-
believe it or not,
Oh, yeah.
people find this very shocking. I am not born and from Philadelphia.
Oh.
I'm from the Lehigh Valley, which is about 45 minutes, 50 minutes away.
Okay.
But believe it or not, Philadelphia Eagles used to have their training camp for, I want to say, like 20, 30 years at Lehigh University. Devontae Smith still has a celebrity softball game in the Coca-Cola
I
Park
love
in the
it.
Lehigh Valley. A lot of connections up there. But
Yeah.
that is where I'm from. And although I spend a lot of time in Philadelphia and am actually planning to move there
there you go.
by this upcoming fall to make it permanent and kind of keep doing this and whatnot. So I am
Yeah.
planning to move there full time. I am not from there, but continue.
But I've got to know. So even though you could be from a distant, I mean, let's face it, folks may not know this, but I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. I mean, you can't get any more Saban friendly than that. However, I was raised in Knoxville, which meant that turned me into a Vol, and then I went to college at TCU, which is hence
gosh.
why I'm wearing this. So, I mean, I've got it all over the place. But
Yeah.
tell me what did Sundays look like for you in your house?
Oh wow. If the Eagles lost, not very good. You didn't want to be around my dad for sure, and I was scared to death and stuff. I mean, but in all seriousness, Sundays I'm Italian, and not just for Italians, but for anybody. I feel like families we cherish it so much, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like Sundays especially for the Eagles and for Philly sports, and I always say the Eagles, but I do rep all Philly sports and love all Philly sports and have been to all Philly sports games, including meet and greets with athletes, of all of them. Just was with Dr. J a few weeks ago, actually, Julius Erving.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So he's not an Eagle, he's a Sixer. So
Yep.
but they were always filled with a lot of passion, family, food. Sundays are just a time of, we work our ass off, hardworking Monday through Saturday, and Sunday a little less hardworking, just kind of our day off to just kind of sit around, enjoy football, and yeah, I would say that.
Well, it sounds like your dad probably had a really big influence. Was your father who helped spur? Because I can tell you that was who did it for me, because my
Yes.
father was a diehard Vol.
Sure.
And I think I've noticed from a lot of the biggest fans in the world, so much of it is related to, your family. Let's just face it, super fans and brands are a lot alike. My mom uses Tide. So guess what I use? Tide.
Tide.
So I mean, like, it kind of like goes with the theory. But
Right.
so was it your dad? Was it a friend, family member? Who do you
Yeah,
give
that's a
the most
great
credit to?
great question. Yeah. Now if it was it was but it was if my dad wasn't an Eagles fan or diehard Philly sports fan, I'm almost a million percent confident I would still have been a diehard Philly
Okay.
sports fan. But I do credit him for bringing me up in that environment with the passion, taking me to the
Yeah.
games. You know what I mean? Giving me the access to when I was a kid to be just around the athletes and stuff, and
Yeah.
go to these games and see it up close was just incredible. So I do credit him a lot for doing that.
All right. Do you remember your very first Philly game in the stadium? And what was that moment you realized this is different? This matters more.
I think I was a kid. It was a preseason football game, an
Hey, those
Eagles
are
game.
cheap. Those are easy to get into. Those are
Well,
like $10 to go sit and watch some great athletes.
perfect segue because we were sitting in the cheap nosebleed seats up in the 700 level up there, and let's
For
just
a
say I was a
preseason
kid
game?
for a preseason game. Yeah, just for it was a cheap seat. I
Okay.
was a kid. I was like, and this is you asked my most faint like earliest
Yeah, I
memory.
want to know your first one. Yep.
I want to say, JR, I was about 9 or 10 years old. Okay,
Yep.
and for this Eagles game, preseason against the Buffalo Bills, it was up in the nosebleeds of the stadium, and
So
I
cool.
saw a Eagles fan absolutely cursing out a couple with with their kids with them and stuff over something on the football field, throwing literally about to like throw the food at them. They was gotten that serious, getting in each other's face over a preseason game. And I was like, at that point, I'm like, well, if they take football a little bit more seriously here in Philly than they do maybe other places. I'm like, this is, and it was just that image was ingrained in my childhood brain. And I'm like, man, just
Wow.
seeing just the restlessness in the crowd and just the passion and just the energy at a preseason game. I'm like, oh wow, like.
Well,
So
well, think about that moment. Let's just face it. Philly fans are wired different. That perfect example couldn't be a better segue for this. So you were still 9 or 10, so that's still a little young. You've got impressionable moments going on
yep.
according to psychiatry. But when did you realize you weren't just a fan? You were all in on the Eagles and all Philly sports teams.
Great question. I just resonated with. I really resonate with the city of Philadelphia and everything. It kind of. I know some people make the memes and stuff about Philadelphia and all that stuff, and like I was scared. Don't want to. Blah, blah. But I really resonate with the culture of Philadelphia and what it stands for. I love Rocky. I love the
Oh,
underdog
who
story.
doesn't?
I love I love the passion. I love the brotherhood. I love the I am my last name's Italian, and I love there's a lot of in South Philadelphia especially. It's like
Yeah.
there's a strong Italian American culture there and stuff, and I just love everything about it. And there's something that just gets me so, it just maybe the biggest thing, JR, is that I live close to, that's my closest team. So
Yep,
I
of
believe in
course.
kind of, at least for me, I know everybody has stories to each their own, but for me, I believe in loyalty, to your closest team as well. So I just felt like, even though I'm not from Philadelphia, we had training camp 5 minutes from my house. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we're in Eagles country. So like, I'm an Eagles fan. So I would say that.
All right. Well, in Philadelphia, fandom isn't just a hobby, it's identity. All right.
Yes.
Listen, we've got to talk about the next step of here on our show today, which is you come from, I believe, a very large, successful family pretzel business that you described earlier in the show. That sounds stable. That sounds predictable. Honestly, kind of amazing. Who doesn't love pretzels, especially with salt and mustard?
Oh
So
my gosh.
walk me through this. You're all involved. You're all doing this. You got your family business. And then when did you decide, obviously, to help your family decide to sell the pretzel business?
Yeah, it was a tough decision. It was a really tough
Yes.
decision, JR, because we spent
Yes.
5.5 years doing it. So I felt like that was a good chunk of time. And a lot of people said, well, if it was going well and you were having a good store in the business, why would you sell your pretzel factory to go just,
Because it's
do-
going well.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
time to
right.
sell.
That's a very common question I got. And and I tell you this today, I have zero regrets because I don't think I have any chance to do the time, the energy, even just to be blunt and honest with you, the finances from even
Yeah.
selling the store to be able to afford to go to some of these games and experiences and be able to
Yeah.
make this content.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't have no regrets because I followed my passion, and I could
Love
say
it.
now I've done both. I've been the pretzel. I've owned a Philly pretzel factory for 5 years, and I made an impact in that community. And
Yeah.
it was a key to key transfer of the ownership. So like we didn't shut the store. Somebody else is running
Yeah.
it now. So I'm happy to still see our vision is still being put in place up there in New York. And but I'm happy to say I'm also the Eagles content creator, the Philly the social media influencer as well. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm most proud about is to be able to say I've done both.
All right. Well, you've closed that chapter, but before you go, because I know our listeners they just can't help themselves. They want to know more about pretzels because it's such a huge staple in
Oh, yeah.
all the foods. It's a
I
super
got you.
fan food. What is the top flavor pretzel you sold when you owned the store?
Wow. Probably our pizza pretzel was pretty popular. It was pretty good.
I do love
We
pizza
also had
pretzel.
mini cheesesteak bites that came 4 in a cup with marinara sauce. We had a variety of dips from buttercream, brownie batter, cinnamon, salted caramel, honey mustard, spicy brown mustard, I mean, you name it. We had a bunch of stuff, candy cane dip. Oh my gosh, we just every different season we had different flavors. Cinnamon rivets. Our little bites were called the rivets, not that was
Oh,
the name for them. So
I love it.
we do party trays, we would do hot dogs, we do oh man, we did everything. So
All right. All right. How long does it take to make a good pretzel? Like, how long does it take from start to finish make a
yeah, so
fresh pretzel?
the process actually we made them fresh daily, and we get in very early in the morning, about 4 or 5 in the morning, and twist them on our twister for about 2 hours. Wheel them back to the cart. They'd proof and freeze for about a solid 2 to 3 hours, and then
Yeah.
they start getting baked around 9, 10 a.m. or whatnot for the start of the day, and then we just continue all day, and then repeat that process the next day.
And
But
where do
now
you
the
sell?
pretzel takes
Oh,
about
yeah.
6 minutes in the oven to bake.
Yeah, that's the easy part. It's this
Yeah,
pre-stuff to make it really good that we love. And
yeah.
where do you sell? Are all your pretzels just sold in one store, or do you distribute them to lots of locations? How does that work?
Yeah, so we were when I had the store, we were walk-in, so you could just walk in and get a pretzel. We
Yeah.
were DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, the whole 9 yards. We were all the third-party hospitals, schools, businesses, you know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yeah.
Just like they'd show up for wholesale stuff.
Yeah.
We had a delivery driver. We were in the Giants in the grocery stores. So we would drop off pretzels in their case by the bakery, and we had a contract with them. They'd pay us every 2 weeks or whatever, and we'd give them pretzels every day and stuff. So it was everywhere. We dang near thought about putting a drive-through in the window. So yeah.
All right, for the listeners to give a nice plug to the individual that you sold the company to, or would you sell it to a family, ESOP, organization, or who'd you sell it to?
Oh yes. So it was it wasn't a specific name. It was more under the group of the WellSpan Health
Ah,
organization up
yep.
there. So,
Okay.
but there was a group of people under that organization. So I would
That
credit
jumped
them.
in. Awesome. And where is it? Where is it? Tell everybody listening here.
Yes, it was in York, Pennsylvania, Philly Pretzel Factory.
I absolutely love it. That's the 2-minute warning before halftime. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're talking about the risk, the pressure, and what happens when you leave your stable job to betting on yourself to become an entrepreneur.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating.
And we're back with the Wingman from Philly, talking about the transition from Pretzel King to Eagles content prince. All right, let's talk about your YouTube series, Inside the Eagles. What's the vision behind it?
Wow. So I've got to give a lot of shout out and credit to my guys, Matt and Topher at Bacon Shake Worldwide, who actually became my friends.
Bacon Shake! We love old Bacon Shake!
Yeah, you guys know who they are. So they found my social media, they found my content on the gram and stuff and YouTube and whatnot. And
Yeah.
they're like, we love what you're doing, Justin. We want to kind of do a podcast. And I'm like, we love what you're doing so much. Like, do you want your own show? We'll help produce it and stuff. And I'm like,
Wow.
look, make up your own name. I'm like, huh, well, everyone thinks I'm always like behind the scenes with the Eagles stuff. I'm like, I'll call it Inside the Eagles. I thought about it for like one day. I was brainstorming ideas. So I'm like, Inside the Eagles. And they're like, that's awesome. Now, if you want to get friends and get people to be on the show, you can get them on the show. I'm like, say less. So I went and started recruiting my little Eagles gang of my friends and whatnot. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, we have this show Inside the Eagles. We're on like 11 or 12 episodes, and it's doing pretty good. It's getting better at least each episode. I'll say
Yeah.
that much, and starting to get some traction. But yeah, it's just I love doing, just not to segue off it, but real quick, I just love doing everything. I love doing the podcasts and content creation and going to live events and interviews and memes and all that stuff. So like I felt like it was just another type of kind of weapon in my arsenal I can just add to the whole content thing, was make my own show and get some Eagle fans to come on and talk about the birds. So
Oh, man, I love it. All right, you're at signings, you're building relationships, you're getting closer to the game than most fans ever will. You've got a following. What's been the most wow, I can't believe I'm here moment so far?
Well, it had to be doing my private signing with Saquon Barkley. Uh, yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. So I was so nervous the day driving. I've never met him before prior to this,
Yeah.
and I remember just meeting when he walked in the room. He had like, I not to be like funny or anything, but just like so much, just like aura behind him. I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
believe I'm standing in front of Saquon Barkley, and not only did I stand in front of Saquon Barkley, I had to do work a private signing with him, and it was about a 5 hour signing. So I
Oh,
was in a room for
gosh.
5 hours. He signed thousands of pieces, and I ended up talking to him like he was like it was just me and you right now. And
Yeah.
some of the conversation I had. So funny story was, just this was during his Super Bowl and 2,000 yard season and all that stuff. And it was a signing was in November of that season. This was like a week or two after his famous backwards hurdle and all that stuff. And I just looked. He was on my fantasy team at the time, and I told him, I said, "Dude, you are carrying my fantasy team right now."
I
And
think
he
he's
just,
carrying a lot of fantasy
yeah,
teams that year, all right? A lot of fantasy
yeah.
teams.
And he just busted out laughing. But just not to tell you stories about it, but just really just that whole environment of being there with him and talking with him, and he asked me. True story. He asked me so many questions about the pretzel factory. He seemed to be
Of
intrigued
course he
about
did,
that.
just like I did. You
Yes,
can't help it
yes.
because it's everybody's like
Yes.
passion, right?
Yes.
Loves pretzels,
And we're
Justin.
both and we're both from the Lehigh Valley. So we talked about
Oh,
that a lot. So he's from
that's
Whitehall.
cool.
I'm from Emmaus. We play each other and like our high schools play each other in football and stuff. So like we're
Yeah.
literally from like the same county. So like it was cool, man. And being such a big Eagles fan, being like a fan, just like I don't work I got in that room actually to be able to do the signing with Saquon back when I owned the pretzel factory, made a connection with the guy that owned that pretzel shop, like I mentioned,
Yeah.
and he said I have about 20 pieces I need to get signed with a guy I made a connection with who's doing a private signing with Saquon at the Valley Forge Casino next week. I can't make it, Justin. Would you go drive down with the pieces and get it signed for me? So like I don't even work for anybody per se. I'm just a friend with the guy, and I got to be in that room. So I would say being with him.
And the timing of it, it goes back to moments in life of opportunities that present themselves. You take advantage of them, and that can change your life forever. Really, just small moments. I mean, the Eminem song, when you get up on stage, make it work, and I think that says so much to everyone I've had a chance to interview, including yourself, that takes it to the next level and becomes these huge super fans. Well, have you had any other moment with any other players or someone
Oh yeah.
else, other organizations that's made it feel so real? Who's someone else?
Dr. J, Julius Erving, was
Oh,
just a few weeks ago. Basketball,
boom!
yeah, basketball. Duncan, the basketball legend, Dr. J, and
Yes.
I credit that to a connection I made. Justin Brown of JB Sports Ventures, who was a gentleman who found my content a few months ago. Actually, this was not when I had the pretzel shop. This was probably
Right.
after I sold it. But he is in the sports business, and he's kind of he does that for like full time. Like actually, is like a full time job, gets paid for it and all that. But he loved my stuff. We became friends, and he invited me. We became such good friends that he invited me to the Dr. J event a few weeks ago. And being in a car with Julius Erving and hearing him, you know. Just talk about stories like playing against Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and talking
Yeah.
about Duncan and then also going this was to answer your question, Jr. Was this
Yeah.
being in an SUV with him with like an armed security detail, sitting in the car with them, talking with them, getting out at the Brooklyn Nets game and being escorted onto the court, sitting courtside with them. I mean, you're walking in, I'm holding my phone like this. There's a whole arena. He's on the jumbotron saying Julius
Gosh.
Erving. I'm right next to him. We're walking
Yeah.
in, and I'm like, this is the guy who was just. We
Hanging.
were just talking about I was
Hanging.
talking with him in the car. Yeah, so just I would say him. Yeah, but a lot of other players I've been blessed to have encounters with, and I don't want to take time up. I know you got questions, but yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, you just nailed that. But now it's time for the drum roll, and it's time for the desert island. So if you've been listening to the show, we always take every guest through a really fun experience. Quick questions, but here it is. Desert Fan Island. You are literally in the Eagle Stadium by yourself on a cold Philly night. The lights are on. The crowd that you could just hear from the speakers and everything else is going, but it's just you. Desert Fan Island. You get one movie that you're going to watch over and over and over again. One musical artist, band or individual who can be singing over and over. You then got one stadium food, one beverage, and one person to be with. Let's go to the first one. What is your one movie?
Rocky.
That's a
I know
good
it's
one.
cliche. I know
You
it's the
can't go
Philly
wrong.
guy, you know.
You can't go wrong. All right, one musical artist.
And I'm not just picking Philly things. I really am
That's
a
fine.
huge fan of Meek Mill. I love
All
Meek
right.
Mill. Meek
Let's
Mill.
go. Let's
He's a
go.
rapper. He's not really what you think. He's a rapper, but Meek
No,
Mill.
I'm friends with K-Camp, and he's a rapper. And I mean, he's got some great
Let's
music
go.
out there out of
Yeah.
Atlanta. So I know it. He's going to be on the show soon, so we're going to have him on here. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
One stadium food.
Oh, Philly cheesesteak, but specifically our Chicky and Pete's crab fries.
That's what I want to hear. Yes.
If y'all know what I'm talking about, Chicky and Pete's crab fries is what's up. So
I love it. All right. One beverage, Justin.
doesn't matter as long as it's alcoholic.
At least you're still drinking. Like I say on so many shows, so many people don't drink anymore. So, hey, keep enjoying that alcohol.
Well, you said
All
if
right,
I'm in the Eagles stadium. I'm not saying I drink all the time, but if I'm at an Eagles game,
absolutely. That's right. You're in the
it's
stadium.
it's a sin to walk in the link sober.
Yes. Yes, I've read it. I've heard it. I've seen. All right. One person to be with.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Living or dead, or like all time?
Either one.
Okay. This was gonna throw you off. Tiger Woods.
Hey, why not? I mean,
Tiger
that
Woods,
would
because
be,
I grew up.
yeah.
Actually, I did not mention this. I'm not going to rant about this. I'm a golfer at heart, and I
Oh.
grew up golfing in 4 years, like varsity in high school and all that stuff. So
What's your
like,
handicap?
I shot in the 70s, and I would
Wow.
shoot. I was about like a 5.6 handicap. So
That's fantastic.
yeah. So I love. I would go. I didn't have content back in the day, but I wish I did, because I went to the Masters as a spectator. I went to like 3 U.S. Opens, PGA
Wow.
Championships. Like, I'm a huge golf fan. Yeah. So Tiger Woods. I know he's had his issues, I understand, but
Hey,
Tiger Woods.
don't we all?
To me, dude, I would like freak out as a fan. Like, I would be starstruck to meet Tiger Woods. So I want Tiger Woods in there. But if not, Jalen Hurts is a good second option.
Well, I was getting ready to ask you. I was going to give you a bonus question with one
Yeah.
Eagles legend.
Yeah,
Would he be your
yeah.
Eagles legend?
Yes, because Jalen Hurts, believe it or not,
Won you a Super Bowl.
he's won me a Super Bowl. He's our franchise quarterback. He is the man, but he's also one of the only Eagle players right now on the team I've yet to meet. So I have to cross him off my bucket list. So yeah.
You'll get to it. I have no doubt with your content. All right, now it's time for us to go a little deeper. You wanted to build something from scratch, and I personally understand that itch. That's not just a career move. That's identity. What did that decision cost you when you made that decision of going from an entrepreneurial spirit of building a company? What did it cost you to make that decision to jump toward the creative side?
In the beginning, JR, it cost me a lot of, like, I felt bad about just a little bit of pain about leaving all my customers and leaving the people in that environment. It's natural. Like, it was when a player gets traded, you feel bad. It's a relationship with people. But I left behind. I want to maybe almost rephrase it, though, to think of the positive now and say, I would say I left behind a legacy there. You know what I mean? I left behind we built a store from scratch. We didn't just go and buy the store, we put one in like there was like a Subway that was in there or something, and we just made it a pretzel. Like, it was built up from scratch. So like, to see somebody still running what, we kind of built from, is just beautiful. So, but I left behind a lot of memories, a lot of, just relationships there. But fortunately, with the power of the internet and the power of social media, I've been able to keep those relationships. And a lot of them now, like, I just had my real estate agent who sold my house in York followed me out, and he's liking all my stories and stuff. And he's messaging me in my videos. And he just started following me up like 2 days ago on my Instagram. So, but I feel like whatever I left, I feel like I gained 1,000,000% back with the impact, the content's been able to give for me.
Well, Justin, one of the biggest things, I've learned in entrepreneurship is it's rare. I mean, the number, what they say is 90% of companies that are started fail, 10% are successful. I think it's some unbelievable stat like that. It's almost like becoming an NFL player. I mean, it's literally in the same, call it zeitgeist, in that world of becoming an NFL player. Now, to be fair, I think that's more like 0.01 or 1%. But I think, even becoming an entrepreneur and then having a successful, what is some information or knowledge you could share briefly to the listeners around how you built, what were the key ingredients to building such a successful company that someone would want to buy it from you?
So the key to me was people first. You don't build a business, you build relationships with people, and then people will build a business for you. So, just developing that, getting my name out in the community. I would give away pretzels all the time, not just at the end of the day, and go to the firehouse, go to the schools, go to the office buildings, go to my friends at the gym. I would go drop off stuff, but just like communities, buildings, just whoever, they would always get pretzels. It was it was awesome. I really enjoyed the time I got to do there. We made a lot of custom pretzels too. We get a lot of requests for like I
Oh,
make
yeah.
Philly shapes like eagle pretzels and Philly pretzels and stuff like that, and people's names and messages
Yeah.
and all that. It was fun. It was a great time. But Jr. Just I felt like it was a chapter, and our pretzels cooked at like almost 600 degrees, and I was a hands-on owner, so I would stand by the oven a lot of hours of the day. I would be in
Wow.
the office, and it was it wasn't that it was too stressful because it wasn't. It was that it was time for a change, and
Yeah.
it was time to follow what I really wanted to do. I I had a wall of fame in the pretzel factory that
Heck yeah, you
every
did.
single inch of the wall I have to post it. I think I posted it maybe a few months ago, like as a throwback, and like all the players I met, and my this was before I
Yes.
even did
All
my
their
content.
autographs.
Before anybody
Yes.
knew about me on the social media side of things, I would have this whole wall of fame, and it would be a conversation that customers would walk in and be like, "Oh, who's that player? How'd you meet?" And it would just be story time. It's story time, and I would talk. It would make my day go quicker, to be able to just share. And I'm like, it was during those times with the customer where I was like, I was
Yep.
almost thinking to myself like, it was almost a slow transition. It was like,
Yes.
I want to be in the Philly sports just
Yep.
world. I don't know what, but I want to be in it. So.
And now you are. All right. Well, if someone is listening right now, stuck between that safe entrepreneurial or you what I'll call basic insurance, key job, mailman, you name it, they've
Yeah.
got their stable job, but they're passionate about a dream. What are you
Yeah.
going to tell them?
Look, if you follow what you really want to do, you can get invited on shows like this, the Superfan Diaries. So, you never know, right? But I would say,
Right.
honestly, to be serious though, you really got to follow your passion. You really have to follow your passion because there's like an old quote, you know, I'm the greatest. I said that before I knew I was. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm the greatest or anything at that, but I'm saying when
Yeah.
it comes to the content creation, before I made my first ever post or even made an Instagram or YouTube account, I was that same person. And that's what I want it to be. So it's like, if you know what you want to do, you have to go after it 100,000,000%, and have full faith, belief, confidence in yourself. And, you have to go after it. So I would say
I
that.
love it. Don't waste the time. All
No,
right, folks, don't
no.
go anywhere. This is Superfan Diaries here in Nashville, Tennessee. We have a quick ad break. Be right back with the buzzer beater questions. And don't forget, my Vols are playing in Philly right now.
Let's go.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating.
And we're back with the Wingman from Philly. Okay, y'all, it is now time for the buzzer beater. But hey, for all the Vol fans listening, Tennessee is winning 51-32 in Philly. So I'm a happy host right now. All right, are you ready for this? Buzzer beaters, Justin. Quick answers to each of these questions I'm going to ask. Number one, favorite Eagle of all time.
Brandon Graham.
All right. Most electric game you've ever experienced.
2025 NFC Championship. I recorded Saquon's opening run on film. It was one of my favorite posts, if not my favorite pieces of content I ever have on my phone.
I remember that run. How do you
Yes.
not remember that
Yes,
run?
yes. When he spinned it against the Commanders, yeah, it was just
All right.
pure adrenaline. Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Dream signing you haven't gotten to yet.
Well, yeah, Jalen Hurts, but I'll tell you a good backup one would be
Yes.
not Eagles related, because I'm not trying to be funny. It's almost
Yeah.
there's a lot of players I've almost of big name variety. I think Jalen Hurts would be the only one I really want to get to for a signing, but I would have to say probably like anybody from the '08 Phillies, like one of those like Ryan Howards or Chase Utley or something. That'd be pretty
Old
cool.
school. Old school.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Craziest Eagles fan moment you've ever seen live. Or fan. Could be a fan moment. Craziest Eagles fan moment.
Oh man.
Besides those couples yelling at each other at the preseason game.
Oh yeah. Probably. Oh man. That's a great question. Craziest Eagles fan moment. Okay,
You've ever
easy,
seen.
easy. At the Detroit Lions game this year, Gilly the Kid pulled up with his crew. You know Gilly the Kid.
No, but who is he?
So Gilly the Kid is he's very famous in the Eagles in Philly world, but he's a super popular social media personality, online, whatnot. And he
We
brought.
got to get him on the show.
Yeah. He just showed up at a tailgate, and
Yeah.
the whole place went nuts. Everybody, hundreds and hundreds of people had their phones out. It was getting swarmed. He pulled up, he partied with us. He pulled up in his little Eagles mobile. He took pictures with everybody. I got a picture with him. He talked with people. He
Love
danced
it.
with them, signed autographs and stuff. It was pretty cool. He's like a rapper personality, whatnot.
Yeah.
And he just pulled up to the tailgate. So like as a fan moment,
That's cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl
Oh,
next
yeah.
year,
Oh yeah.
where are you?
Well, I've never been to a Super Bowl, so hopefully, if I had enough money, I'd like to say I'd be there, be at the Super Bowl. But if the Eagles win the Super Bowl next year, I'm at the parade, and I'm if that's what you're asking, I'll be. And I'll tell you where I'll be. I'll be on my phone making a lot of posts. So
That's perfect for the
Yeah.
last question.
Yeah.
One piece of advice for content creators trying to break through. And we have a lot of non-sports people that actually listen to this podcast. So
here's the best advice I can give you. Everybody doom scrolls. Everybody scrolls on their phone, right? Everybody scroll. Follow your instinct in your heart. If it makes you laugh, if it makes you inspired, if it makes you feel an emotion, there's a good chance other people will feel that emotion. So just remember ways you can just go off that. It doesn't have to be a meme per se. It could be any piece of content. So if it makes you feel an emotion, if you watch it, if you see just something that you like that, and you're like, wow, like I have something that might not that name or player, but I have something similar in my phone like that content. I could post that, just so I would say that.
great advice. All right. Sticking to emotion. You've had some great answers today. This has been amazing. A little bit more serious. I want to know when you get to the pearly gates and they say, Justin, you are a crazy diehard Eagles fan and a talented content creator. What are you asking forgiveness for?
All my cowboy memes and stuff that I've made and all my jokes.
Great answer.
No. In all
Great
serious,
answer.
yeah, me and my student corniness and my humor. But in all seriousness, I would say just if
By the way,
is-
there's a bachelorette party waving at all of us here in the studio
Yeah.
right now. You can't see them, but there are bachelorettes in Nashville raving to us. It's great.
Well, I will certainly wave back. How's it going? And I would say just forgiveness for anything. Obviously I won't go on a rant or anything about
Yeah.
it, but anything in my personal life that anybody that I've ever done wrong or anything in my past or anything, not to make this like confession, but just anything, just to just in the past, just anything. When I leaving the Pretzel factory, if I had to, leave relationships behind and stuff like that, I hope people forgive me for making, understanding that decision and stuff like that. And, just as we all grow as people, just, maybe just any, if there's anything that people think it was a mistake or anything, or just forgiveness for that, I guess. It's a great question, very deep question. Yeah.
Yeah, well, very humble of you and your information. And I've always felt this way about every job I've ever had, about every company I've been a part of.
Right.
If you leave the place you started better than when you arrived, you've done a great thing. So it sounds like you clearly
Great
did
point.
that with your factory, and now you're going to be doing it with content creating. So years from now, when people hear of you, Justin, the Wingman, what do you hope they think?
I hope they think that he was authentic to himself, and he wasn't afraid to really express whatever just his whatever was on his mind. You know what I mean? His vision just was laid out there for the world to see, and my social media is just kind of my diary for everybody. It's kind of like, to answer your question, and to hit the pearly gates one day, I hope people can just, my account never gets deleted and it stays up forever. And it's just they see the life of a fan through my eyes, and I have almost 2,500 posts right now. I've only been doing it for a year, so I post a lot.
Wow.
And a lot, yeah. And I've been to a lot of places, and I've worked with a lot of athletes and been to a lot of games. And I don't plan to stop anytime soon. So I just want, by the end of my life, everybody to watch all my videos, watch all my content, and have it be a big book. They'll read books that were written in the 1800s, and hopefully they'll be able to watch my content
Yep.
thousands of years down the line.
Well, with AI, it's probably going to be around for a very, very long time. Justin the Wingman didn't just bet on a team. He bet on himself. He turned fandom into purpose and passion into direction. In a city that demands everything, he chose to give it everything back. This is the Superfan Diaries. I'm J.R. Green. And remember, if you make one person smile today, you've had a great day. Make them laugh, even better. Thanks for listening, everyone, and goodbye.